Today we're going to be learning how to make a style of bat boxes. I'm following the CWF printout that you can find on the Help the Bats website. So I have all my pieces here, and starting at step number 7, we're going to roughen the plank so that the bats have something that they can grab onto when they go into these boxes. So in order to do that, I am going to start with my back piece, and you're only going to roughen one side of the back panel and both sides of the middle panel. As you can see, I have already put 2 drill holes into the middle panel, and this allows for a chamber for the bats to go from one section to the other section in the box. So without further ado, let's get scratching. Alright, for scratching, I'm taking a chisel and I'm going to go down and across. And you want to make sure that the scratches are horizontal with the plank so that they can hang like this way. You don't want them going vertical. So I'll continue that all the way down the length of the box. The spacing for these doesn't matter too much, but you do want to ensure that you have enough of them down the whole length of this panel. So let's see. The deeper you can make them, the better. If you do have a saw and can do this with a machine, that would be ideal, but I understand that's not very feasible for a lot of people. So again, a chisel and some muscle will work just fine. Perfect. Now my pieces are all roughened. I'll move on to step number 9. So in this step, you're going to grab your caulking and 2 of your planks. Here you're going to apply a layer of caulking. And you want to make sure that the end piece here is lined up with the end of the board, because we want to have a nice flat roof at the end. So we want all these pieces that we're stacking up on top of each other to line up. And then I'll do the same thing for the other side. Perfect. So once you've applied the thin layer of caulking and let that sit, what I'm going to do is, because my screws are a bit longer, is I'm going to put the middle piece on as well. And you want to make sure that these 2 holes are at the top of your box. So I'm going to put the middle one on, and then I'm going to drill these 3 pieces of wood all together, just because of my screws being a little bit longer than normal. Perfect. So now I have the middle piece secured on, and we'll repeat the process, except this time we'll be putting on the top piece. And the top piece, we didn't put any scratchings on, but if you'd like and have extra time, you can definitely put scratches on the inside of the top piece. So again, we'll take our 2 planks, and we'll put a bead of caulking on each side, place it on both ends, and then we'll put the top piece on. So I'll go ahead and start caulking. Perfect. So once your 2 side pieces are on, that's when you can start putting on the top. So this plank is shorter than the middle piece. You'll want the top end to line up with the top of your box. like so. And then you'll realize you have this extra bit exposed. That's where this 6-inch piece board comes in. So you'll put this board about 1/2 inch, leaving like about that gap there. So I will caulk these on, screw them in, and then I'll show a close-up of how my board assembles. You can then drill it in place, and make sure you don't drill in the exact same location that you put the first drill bit. So just kind of give yourself, if I put my first one there, just move over a little bit just so you don't hit it when you start screwing in. So now once you have it all screwed in, your box looks pretty good at this point. We are almost done. We just have to put on the roof. So you can either put the roof on with it standing up and drilling down, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to lay it down flat here and put the roof on this way. So you'll take your smaller 5-inch piece here, wide, and place it flat on to the top of the box. You will have about this much of a lip hanging off so that when it rains, the pads don't get wet, so there's this runoff effect here. And we want to make sure it lines up nice and straight. We'll put some caulking as well, and we'll put some, after we're done screwing, we'll put some all around the edges before we do the stain. So without further ado, let's get drilling. So now we have our box with our roof on it. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these sides here, and I'll show a close-up, but any gaps that I see and along wherever there was 2 pieces of wood coming together, I'm going to apply a thin layer of caulking just so that I can ensure that it's airtight and that water won't seep into it. I will apply caulking just to fill in any of these holes that I can see. There's a little bit of gaps between some of the boards, and then I'll do the same for the roof. I'll apply a thin layer along here, and if we look on the other side, same thing. I can see that some of the caulking has already seeped through, so I can put that into the different holes there. But that's going to be my next step, and then I'll let it dry and apply the stain. All finished, you want to make sure that it dries completely. So depending on the different brands, it can take a little bit longer. This one dries fairly quickly, but I'm still going to wait a few hours before I apply the stain because I want to make sure that the caulking is completely dry. I might even go over and wipe a little bit of the excess off, and then I'll get going. Perfect. So once it's all dried, we can now stain it. You want to make sure that your stain is water-based and non-toxic. You also want to make sure that it's a dark color, so I'm using charcoal. So I'll open this up and get painting. You'll also want to make sure that you do a couple coats. So I'll start with the one layer, let it completely dry, and then go back again. Another tip when you're painting the grooves, you want to make sure that you're not painting like too much inside them so that the big groove that you make is no longer there. So just really be aware of that when you're doing it. You want to maintain the depth of these grooves. Perfect. So now our bat box is completely dried with the second coat. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and best of luck on building your own bat box. Thank you.